So hello everyone, I'm Tushar Pingte. I'm a business analyst in Kylas, and today's webinar is all about the features that we released in our last version, that is data export, reports on the report feature on companies, especially custom fields on companies, and admin to create share rule and manage the hierarchy. Okay, so last release, the major part of the last release was the company. So let's take a look on one by one. Please let me know once my screen is visible. Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. So the first feature that we released is about introducing the company form fields. This feature was especially for those customers and organizations, small businesses, organizations who majorly deal with the B2B environment, right? So earlier there was very limited fields available on the companies. If you can still visit our company, add company forms, you can see there are very limited fields available in the company. So there was a request from our customer base feedback to add some more fields. So we have introduced that as well. So if you have read permission on custom fields and you go to CRM custom CRM settings, you can see there is a new model, that is company form fields. If you go under the company form fields, you can see all the fields that is available on the add company form, right? If you have only read access on company form fields, you can just see this form fields page, right? And if you have a read create and update on a custom form field, company form fields, then you can just select one of the fields and you can rename the existing fields. Like if this field name is name and I want to, let's first I show you how it looks. If you visit the form, there is a title name for this field. Okay, if I rename it as company and save it, you can see the name has been changed to company name. So you can rename all the fields with the name that you want, right? But there's another thing with the form fields, and that is you can add more custom fields as well, because you can see there are all the system fields available in this page. If you want to add more fields on a form, just click on add field, select your type. Let me select the text field. You can select whatever you want. Okay, just click on next, name your, if you want to make it filterable or sortable, you can just turn this toggle on and click on submit, and this created field will be shown on your company form field. You can see the requirement field is added to the list and the type is custom. Let's see if this field is visible on the company forms. If you visit company form field, at the last in other details, you will see requirement as a field, new field. So this way you can add as many as fields as you want, according to your requirement and what type of informations you gather in order to deal with this B2B environment, right? The second thing that we release is if small organizations majorly dealing with the B2B clients and they are using companies as a main entity, then they will need reports on a company as well, right? or small organizations or any of the organizations are majorly dealing with the companies as a main entity, they will need a reports on that entity as well. So we also introduce reports on the companies. You just need to go in a report module. You will see all reports are here. Just select this lookup menu and select the companies. We are providing some of the default reports on companies, like companies by industry, company by owner. Owner is in terms of user that have created, who has created the company. Okay, the size of the company. So that's all the uh, reports are available by default. We are providing, but still, if you want to create your own report according to your requirement, just go to create new report. Okay, type your report. Uh, First, I'm using only one dimensional report, so I will select company as an entity, and I will select date range. I haven't added any of the company recently, so I will just select last quarter. I will select dimension, what dimensions I want to see in the report, and metrics as a number of companies. If I generate preview, you can see there are 3 companies associated with the different entities, different industries, and there are 2 industries which doesn't have any value. Okay, if I want to see multi-dimension report, I will simply select multi-dimension, and I just need to select more than one dimension. So let's say business companies. So you can see there are 2 dimensions I have added, and with respect to the dimensions, we have number of companies. So you can see there are accounting as an industry, and business type is customer, and there is one company I have added with this industry and business type. If I don't want to see all the data, I will just filter out the data. Like, let's say I want to sort it by industry, and I just want to take a look on accounting industry. I have selected accounting, and the another one is education. If I generate preview, I can see only 2 results are available in the report, and I can just save this report as well. So whenever I will come back to this report, I can see what are the updates and what new companies I have added with respect to that industry and business type. Okay, so we have introduced reports on company as well. The another thing is that the export thing, right? So we were having lots of queries about exporting the data from the backend from our customers. So instead of exporting the data, we introduced the export as a feature. So it's your data, and we cannot restrict to export to get your data from our system, right? So it's your right to get your data from our application. So we have a data export feature available in the Kylas. For that matter, you must have a profile permission to export the data. If you go to profile permission, first you have to visit user management and just go to profile permissions. Okay, if you visit one of the profiles, you will see data management module. Just expand this data management module, and there is toggles to export, right? If you turn them on and say this, okay, this is the system profile. So I already have the export permissions as I am a system. My profile is a system profile. Okay, so let's change another profile. Just go to data management, save this. So this profile has been saved with the export permission on. So if I go to data management, I can see the data export model here. I just have to click data export, and there is an option to export. You can see this is the operation that I have performed to export my data from the system. Okay, so in the listing you will see the when I have exported the data, who has exported, what type of entity I have exported, what is the status of the operation of the export, and how much record I have exported, right? So let's export one of the entity. I will just quickly click on export. Right now we are allowing notes on a lead, contact, and team. If I see, you can export company, call, and meeting as well, but I'm focusing on lead just because we want to export notes associated with that particular lead as well. So I will select lead, and I just need to check this box on as a notes. So once I click on the notes will be available to export. Otherwise, if I check this off and export the leads, I will only get the leads, data related to leads. Okay, so I will click this on, and I can select the smart list that is available or I have created in the system. But right now I just want to export all the leads, so I will just select leads. I don't want to apply any filter, so I'll just click export now. So there is one operation that I need about first. Let's wait to complete this operation. About it. Let's export again. So I have aborted all the existing operations, and you can see the status is in progress. If I reload this page, it takes some time to export all the data from the system. Now you can see there's a time 5:53, date is 6 April, and export of the lead is completed. And now I am able to download this file. If I click on this file, you can see the zip file has been created. Okay, just let me share my full screen so you can see how we get the data and zip file. This is the zip file that I have got from the export. If I open this file, we'll see two files. The first is the lead data that is exported, and the second one is notes associated with that particular list, particular leads. Okay, if I extract this file, you will see this type of file as a note, in which you will get associated entity ID, the note ID, what is the content included in that note, when it is created, by whom it is created, what type of entity it was for the node, and associated the entity ID. The second file that you will get from the export is that all the fields that are available in the lead form, like if I go to lead form, then you can see there are lots of fields available in the form. So you are now able to export all the data related to all the fields, right? So in export, you will see all the field data are available in the exported file. If you go further, you will see the ID. This is nothing but the lead ID. In the lead export data, you will have the ID, lead ID, and in node also you will have associated entity ID. And this both IDs are exactly identical. So you just need to apply the VLOOKUP in the both sheet, and you will get all the nodes associated with that particular entity. So this is how you can export all the nodes related to lead, deal, and contact as well. The next thing that is important in perspective of managing the hierarchy with the shareholder. So if you have attended our previous webinar, which was about maintaining your hierarchy with the help of share rule, right? So we have concept of share rule in the Kylas. So we have two permission for that. We have two permissions in the Kylas, either read all or read. So with the read permission, either you can just read your records, or you can just with the read all permission, you can read everyone's record, right? So let's say let me go to profile permissions once. This is the admin profile of mine, and I have read all access. Okay, so if I have read all access on a lead, let's say update all access or read all access, I can see everyone's lead existed in the system. Okay, if let's say this is the only read profile that I have created, and if I have only read permission and I don't have a read all permission, and then I can only see my list that I have created in the system, and I cannot see any other users records that is being generated by him. Okay, so in order to maintain your hierarchy, what we used to do, we let's say in this I will just take a help to this diagram to explain how we can manage how we used to manage our hierarchy with the share rule. So let's say T1 has read all permission. He is the ultimate owner, tenant, and he can access and read all the records that is been available in the system, right? So, and let's say there is a TP and M01. There are two users in the middle level of the hierarchy, and VP L01, L02, and L03. They are the lowest level of the hierarchy. So we have a concept of ownership in the Kylas. So let's say VP has only read access and create access. TP has only read access and create access, and M01, L02, L03, and L01, they are also having same access, that is read and create. So they are only able to see their own records, and they cannot see each other's records because they don't have any read or create all permissions, right? But T01 has ultimate permissions, profile permissions, to see all the users records because he has read all and create all permissions, right? So how we used to do, we used to ask VP to create a share rule for a TP. So if he's creating a share rule where he can share all his records with the TP, then only TP will be able to see all the records of VP, right? Same for L01. If L01 create a share rule like sharing all his records with TP, then only TP will have access to the records of L01. Same for L01. L02 and L03 would have to create a share rule where they want to share all their records with L01. Then M01 will be able to share all the see all the records of L02 and L03. And we don't need to create a share rule for T01 because he has all the ultimate permissions. He has read all access, so he can ultimately see everyone's record. But earlier it was like to ask every user and every owner, which is the owner of certain records. We used to ask everyone to create a share rule for their superiors, and then only they are able to see their records, right? But what we have introduced for now is that as an admin T01 with all read all and create all permission, now he can create a share rule for VP L01 and L02 and L03 as well. So he will be only the person who will be creating share rule for VP and TP to share all the VP's leads with TP and all the L03 three's leads or any record with M01. So let me quickly show you how this will work. So I will just go to user management first, and there is a data sharing option. Okay, I will just click on a data sharing. You can see if I have a create permission on share rule, you can see I will see add button. Okay, I will quickly click on add. I can just rename this rule. Let's say I want to share the VP's records with TP's, right? And if you notice that T01 is not the ultimate explicit owner of the lead, but VP is. But he, as a admin, now he can share his records with TP. That's we are doing here. So let's say share description. If I want, then I can enter description. The record owner. Okay, so I want to share VP's record with TP, so record owner must be VP. So I will select VP as a record owner, and with whom I want to share, I will quickly select user as a TP. So now you can see all the records of VP will be shared with TP. What type of record I want to share, I will select that entity. If I want to share all leads, I will keep this as it is. What type of permission I want to give, I will just give those permission and we'll save this. So as an admin, I have created share rule for 2 of my users which are having restricted profile permissions, right? So now with this share rule, the TP will have all the access of the VP's record. And same for if I create a share rule for M01, the M01 will be just give me a minute. So with this create share rule, I can, as an admin, I can share anyone's record with any one of the user, right? So we have introduced this feature just to avoid asking for every user to create a share rule for their superiors. You can just create your share rule, and you can, as an admin, you can just share any user's entity with any users. If you want to create a share rule with, like, share VP's record with L01, you can also create that as well. So this was all about creating share rule for others. With this creating a share rule, we also introduced one of the feature, that is deleting a share rule. Because if you are existing Kylas user, and if you, let's say, if you create one of the entity and share any entity with one of the user without creating a share rule, explicit share rule. Let me share this. The lead is shared with my one of the users, okay, and you can go back to data sharing page. You can see there is one share rule created for that particular record, right? But if this is okay if you are sharing only one or two leads, but if you are sharing every lead for every record, it will create a new share. So you need to delete those records as well. So we have introduced delete share rule as a feature, where if you don't want to share that record anymore with that particular user, if you see the record is Tushar Pingte and this record is shared with TP, and from now onwards I don't want to share this lead with this user, I will just go to all sharing rule. I will just click on this ellipse and delete this, and now this way you can delete all the share rules that have been created in this system. So this was all about today's webinar is all about was all about. We can wrap this session for today. Thank you attending for this webinar. Thank you very much.